out of the land of Egypt, out of the house of bondage. Thou shalt have no other gods before me. Thou shalt not make unto thee any graven image, or any likeness of anything that is in heaven above, or that is in the earth beneath, or that is in the water under the earth. Thou shalt not bow down thyself to them, nor serve them. For I, the Lord thy God, am a jealous God, visiting the iniquity of the fathers upon the children unto the third and fourth generation of them that hate me, and shewing mercy unto thousands of them that love me, and keep my commandments. Thou shalt not take the name of the Lord thy God in vain, for the Lord will not hold him guiltless that taketh his name in vain. Remember the Sabbath day to keep it holy. 6 days shalt thou labor, and do all thy work, but the seventh day is the Sabbath of the Lord thy God. In it thou shalt not do any work, thou, nor thy son, nor thy daughter, thy manservant, nor thy maidservant, nor thy cattle, nor thy stranger that is within thy gates. For in 6 days the Lord made heaven and earth, the sea, and all that in them is, and rested the seventh day. Wherefore the Lord blessed the Sabbath day and hallowed it. Honor thy father and thy mother, that thy days may be long upon the land which the Lord thy God giveth thee. Thou shalt not kill, thou shalt not commit adultery, thou shalt not steal, thou shalt not bear false witness against thy neighbor, thou shalt not covet thy neighbor's house, thou shalt not covet thy neighbor's wife, nor his manservant, nor his maidservant, nor his ox, nor his ass, nor anything that is thy neighbor's. And all the people saw the thunderings and the lightnings, and the noise of the trumpet and the mountain smoking. And when the people saw it, they removed and stood afar off. And they said unto Moses,
Speak thou with us, and we will hear. But let not God speak with us, lest we die.
And Moses said unto the people,
Fear not, for God is come to prove you, and that his fear may be before your faces, that ye sin not.
And the people stood afar off, and Moses drew near unto the thick darkness where God was. And the Lord said unto Moses, Thus thou shalt say unto the children of Israel, Ye have seen that I have talked with you from heaven. Ye shall not make with me gods of silver, neither shall ye make unto you gods of gold. An altar of earth thou shalt make unto me, and shalt sacrifice thereon thy burnt offerings, and thy peace offerings, thy sheep and thine oxen. In all places where I record my name, I will come unto thee, and I will bless thee. And if thou wilt make me an altar of stone, thou shalt not build it of hewn stone, for if thou lift up thy tool upon it, thou hast polluted it. Neither shalt thou go up by steps unto mine altar, that thy nakedness be not discovered thereon. Chapter 21. Now these are the judgments which thou shalt set before them. If thou buy an Hebrew servant, 6 years he shall serve, and in the 7th he shall go out free for nothing. If he came in by himself, he shall go out by himself. If he were married, then his wife shall go out with him. If his master have given him a wife, and she have borne him sons or daughters, the wife and her children shall be her master's, and he shall go out by himself. And if the servant shall plainly say, I love my master, my wife, and my children, I will not go out free, then his master shall bring him unto the judges. He shall also bring him to the door, or unto the doorpost. And his master shall bore his ear through with an awl, and he shall serve him forever. And if a man sell his daughter to be a maidservant, she shall not go out as the menservants do. If she please not her master, who hath betrothed her to himself, then shall he let her be redeemed. To sell her unto a strange nation he shall have no power, seeing he hath dealt deceitfully with her. And if he have betrothed her unto his son, he shall deal with her after the manner of daughters. If he take him another wife, her food, her raiment, and her duty of marriage shall he not diminish. And if he do not these 3 unto her, then shall she go out free without money. He that smiteth a man, so that he die, shall be surely put to death. And if a man lie not in wait, but God deliver him into his hand, then I will appoint thee a place whither he shall flee. But if a man come presumptuously upon his neighbor, to slay him with guile, thou shalt take him from mine altar, that he may die. And he that smiteth his father or his mother shall be surely put to death. And he that stealeth a man and selleth him, or if he be found in his hand, he shall surely be put to death. And he that curseth his father or his mother shall surely be put to death. And if men strive together, and one smite another with a stone, or with his fist, and he die not, but keepeth his bed, if he rise again and walk abroad upon his staff, then shall he that smote him be quit. Only he shall pay for the loss of his time, and shall cause him to be thoroughly healed. And if a man smite his servant or his maid with a rod, and he die under his hand, he shall be surely punished. Notwithstanding, if he continue a day or two, he shall not be punished, for he is his money. If men strive and hurt a woman with child, so that her fruit depart from her, and yet no mischief follow, he shall be surely punished according as the woman's husband will lay upon him, and he shall pay as the judges determine. And if any mischief follow, then thou shalt give life for life, eye for eye, tooth for tooth, hand for hand, foot for foot, burning for burning, wound for wound, stripe for stripe. And if a man smite the eye of his servant, or the eye of his maid, that it perish, he shall let him go free for his eye's sake. And if he smite out his manservant's tooth, or his maidservant's tooth, he shall let him go free for his tooth's sake. If an ox gore a man or a woman, that they die, then the ox shall be surely stoned, and his flesh shall not be eaten, but the owner of the ox shall be quit. But if the ox were wont to push with his horn in time past, and it hath been testified to his owner, and he hath not kept him in, but that he hath killed a man or a woman, the ox shall be stoned, and his owner also shall be put to death. If there be laid on him a sum of money, then he shall give for the ransom of his life whatsoever is laid upon him. Whether he have gored a son, or have gored a daughter, according to this judgment shall it be done unto him. If the ox shall push a manservant or a maidservant, he shall give unto their master 30 shekels of silver, and the ox shall be stoned. And if a man shall open a pit, or if a man shall dig a pit and not cover it, and an ox or an ass fall therein, the owner of the pit shall make it good, and give money unto the owner of them, and the dead beast shall be his. And if one man's ox hurt another's, that he die, then they shall sell the live ox, and divide the money of it, and the dead ox also they shall divide. Or if it be known that the ox hath used to push in time past, and his owner hath not kept him in, he shall surely pay ox for ox, and the dead shall be his own. Chapter 22. If a man shall steal an ox or a sheep, and kill it, or sell it, he shall restore 5 oxen for an ox, and 4 sheep for a sheep. If a thief be found breaking up, and be smitten that he die, there shall no blood be shed for him. If the sun be risen upon him, there shall be blood shed for him, for he should make full restitution. If he have nothing, then he shall be sold for his theft. If the theft be certainly found in his hand alive, whether it be ox or ass or sheep, he shall restore double. If a man shall cause a field or vineyard to be eaten, and shall put in his beast, and shall feed in another man's field, of the best of his own field and of the best of his own vineyard shall he make restitution. If fire break out and catch in thorns, so that the stacks of corn, or the standing corn, or the field be consumed therewith, he that kindled the fire shall surely make restitution. If a man shall deliver unto his neighbor money or stuff to keep, and it be stolen out of the man's house, if the thief be found, let him pay double. If the thief be not found, then the master of the house shall be brought unto the judges, to see whether he have put his hand unto his neighbor's goods. For all manner of trespass, whether it be for ox, for ass, for sheep, for raiment, or for any manner of lost thing, which another challengeth to be his, the cause of both parties shall come before the judges, and whom the judges shall condemn, he shall pay double unto his neighbor. If a man deliver unto his neighbor an ass, or an ox, or a sheep, or any beast to keep, and it die, or be hurt, or driven away, no man seeing it, then shall an oath of the Lord be between them both, that he hath not put his hand unto his neighbor's goods, and the owner of it shall accept thereof, and he shall not make it good. And if it be stolen from him, he shall make restitution unto the owner thereof. If it be torn in pieces, then let him bring it for witness, and he shall not make good that which was torn. And if a man borrow aught of his neighbor, and it be hurt or die, the owner thereof being not with it, he shall surely make it good. But if the owner thereof be with it, he shall not make it good. If it be an hired thing, it came for his hire. And if a man entice a maid that is not betrothed, and lie with her, he shall surely endow her to be his wife. If her father utterly refuse to give her unto him, he shall pay money according to the dowry of virgins. Thou shalt not suffer a witch to live. Whosoever lieth with a beast shall surely be put to death. He that sacrificeth unto any god, save unto the Lord only, he shall be utterly destroyed. Thou shalt neither vex a stranger nor oppress him, for ye were strangers in the land of Egypt. Ye shall not afflict any widow or fatherless child. If thou afflict them in any wise, and they cry at all unto me, I will surely hear their cry. And my wrath shall wax hot, and I will kill you with the sword, and your wives shall be widows, and your children fatherless. If thou lend money to any of my people that is poor by thee, thou shalt not be to him as an usurer, neither shalt thou lay upon him usury. If thou at all take thy neighbor's raiment to pledge, thou shalt deliver it unto him by that the sun goeth down. For that is his covering only, it is his raiment for his skin, wherein shall he sleep? And it shall come to pass when he crieth unto me that I will hear, for I am gracious. Thou shalt not revile the gods, nor curse the ruler of thy people. Thou shalt not delay to offer the first of thy ripe fruits and of thy liquors. The firstborn of thy sons shalt thou give unto me. Likewise shalt thou do with thine oxen, and with thy sheep. 7 days it shall be with this dam. On the 8th day thou shalt give it me. And ye shall be holy men unto me, neither shall ye eat any flesh that is torn of beasts in the field. Ye shall cast it to the dogs. Chapter 23. Thou shalt not raise a false report. Put not thine hand with the wicked to be an unrighteous witness. Thou shalt not follow a multitude to do evil, neither shalt thou speak in a cause to decline after many to wrest judgment. Neither shalt thou countenance a poor man in his cause. If thou meet thine enemy's ox or his ass going astray, thou shalt surely bring it back to him again. If thou see the ass of him that hateth thee lying under his burden, and wouldest forbear to help him, thou shalt surely help with him. Thou shalt not wrest the judgment of thy poor in his cause. Keep thee far from a false matter, and the innocent and righteous slay thou not, for I will not justify the wicked. And thou shalt take no gift, for the gift blindeth the wise, and perverteth the words of the righteous. Also thou shalt not oppress a stranger, for ye know the heart of a stranger, seeing ye were strangers in the land of Egypt. And 6 years thou shalt sow thy land, and shalt gather in the fruits thereof. But the 7th year thou shalt let it rest and lie still, that the poor of thy people may eat, and what they leave the beasts of the field shall eat. In like manner thou shalt deal with thy vineyard, and with thy olive yard. 6 days thou shalt do thy work, and on the 7th day thou shalt rest, that thine ox and thine ass may rest, and the son of thy handmaid and the stranger may be refreshed. And in all things that I have said unto you be circumspect, and make no mention of the name of other gods, neither let it be heard out of thy mouth. 3 times thou shalt keep a feast unto me in the year. Thou shalt keep the feast of unleavened bread. Thou shalt eat unleavened bread 7 days, as I commanded thee, in the time appointed of the month Abib. For in it thou camest out from Egypt, and none shall appear before me empty. And the feast of harvest, the firstfruits of thy labors, which thou hast sown in the field, and the feast of ingathering, which is in the end of the year, when thou hast gathered in thy labors out of the field. 3 times in the year all thy males shall appear before the Lord God. Thou shalt not offer the blood of my sacrifice with leavened bread, neither shall the fat of my sacrifice remain until the morning. The first of the firstfruits of thy land thou shalt bring into the house of the Lord thy God. Thou shalt not seeth a kid in his mother's milk. Behold, I send an angel before thee, to keep thee in the way, and to bring thee into the place which I have prepared. Beware of him, and obey his voice. Provoke him not, for he will not pardon your transgressions, for my name is in him. But if thou shalt indeed obey his voice, and do all that I speak, then I will be an enemy unto thine enemies, and an adversary unto thine adversaries. For mine angel shall go before thee, and bring thee in unto the Amorites, and the Hittites, and the Perizzites, and the Canaanites, and the Hivites, and the Jebusites, and I will cut them off. Thou shalt not bow down to their gods, nor serve them, nor do after their works, but thou shalt utterly overthrow them, and quite break down their images. And ye shall serve the Lord your God, and he shall bless thy bread and thy water, and I will take sickness away from the midst of thee. There shall nothing cast their young, nor be barren in thy land. The number of thy days I will fulfill. I will send my fear before thee, and will destroy all the people to whom thou shalt come. And I will make all thine enemies turn their backs unto thee. And I will send hornets before thee, which shall drive out the Hivite, the Canaanite, and the Hittite from before thee. I will not drive them out from before thee in 1 year, lest the land become desolate, and the beast of the field multiply against thee. By little and little I will drive them out from before thee, until thou be increased and inherit the land. And I will set thy bounds from the Red Sea even unto the sea of the Philistines, and from the desert unto the river. For I will deliver the inhabitants of the land into your hand, and thou shalt drive them out before thee. Thou shalt make no covenant with them, nor with their gods. They shall not dwell in thy land, lest they make thee sin against me. For if thou serve their gods, it will surely be a snare unto thee. Chapter 24. And he said unto Moses, Come up unto the Lord, thou and Aaron, Nadab, and Abihu, and 70 of the elders of Israel, and worship ye afar off. And Moses alone shall come near the Lord, but they shall not come nigh, neither shall the people go up with him. And Moses came and told the people all the words of the Lord, and all the judgments. And all the people answered with one voice, and said, All the words which the Lord hath said will we do. And Moses wrote all the words of the Lord, and rose up early in the morning, and builded an altar unto the hill, and 12 pillars, according to the 12 tribes of Israel. And he sent young men of the children of Israel, which offered burnt offerings, and sacrificed peace offerings of oxen unto the Lord. And Moses took half of the blood, and put it in basins, and half of the blood he sprinkled on the altar. And he took the book of the covenant, and read in the audience of the people. And they said, All that the Lord hath said will we do, and be obedient. And Moses took the blood, and sprinkled it on the people, and said, Behold the blood of the covenant, which the Lord hath made with you concerning all these words. Then went up Moses and Aaron, Nadab and Abihu, and 70 of the elders of Israel. And they saw the God of Israel. And there was under his feet, as it were, a paved work of a sapphire stone, as it were the body of heaven in his clearness. And upon the nobles of the children of Israel he laid not his hand. Also they saw God, and did eat and drink. And the Lord said unto Moses, Come up to me into the mount, and be there. And I will give thee tables of stone, and a law, and commandments which I have written, that thou mayest teach them. And Moses rose up, and his minister Joshua, and Moses went up into the mount of God. And he said unto the elders,
Tarry ye here for us, until we come again unto you. And behold, Aaron and Hur are with you. If any man have any matters to do, let him come unto them.
And Moses went up into the mount, and a cloud covered the mount. And the glory of the Lord abode upon Mount Sinai, and the cloud covered it 6 days. And the 7th day he called unto Moses out of the midst of the cloud. And the sight of the glory of the Lord was like devouring fire on the top of the mount in the eyes of the children of Israel. And Moses went into the midst of the cloud, and gat him up into the mount. And Moses was in the mount 40 days and 40 nights. Chapter 25.
Greetings. We're there with you, teens and times. Question. Moses, Egypt, a child was taken in by the Egyptians as a child, for his mother placed him in the Nile, and he was found by the Pharaoh's family. He was raised as their child. So he was raised as their child. They took him as their son, the Pharaoh and the Pharaoh's wife. He was educated and looked after. His mother was the one who weaned him, but they did not know that she was his mother. So, pastors, African Caribbean, black pastors, why have you not shared with the people that Moses happened to be an Habashi, African, black? There's no way that they're going to take this child out of the Nile and then introduce the child as their own if he didn't look like them. The child had to have the same pigmentation. It cannot be looking, not resemble. The pigmentation, he had to have the same reflective skin tone as them. Factual reasoning. They don't need to argue this. It's factual reasoning. What should that actually do to like us in the diaspora, the children of the slave? If it wasn't made for us to think that we did not feature, it would have freed up a lot of our minds. It would allow us to be not courageous, but we were seeing importance in ourselves. Because remember, we're the children of the slaves. Our ancestors never knew freedom because they were captured people. Kidnapped, brought to another place, didn't have a name, did have names before, but they could not use those names among the people them who took them. And those people branded their names unto us. So, the psychological and the cultural, which is all mental, has a great impact. But knowing some truth, having a recognition, a realization, a reflection of where you came from would help a person or persons, this is persons, not one a person, have some spiritual continuity within oneself. So we never stop searching, which we haven't. But we haven't embraced any truth. And when we get close, we're deemed to be troublesome, even by ourselves. And the very people who have done these things to us do not find it necessary to give us any truth. So you people who are pastors and are preaching whatever you're preaching, you're to blame for the ignorance that's been perpetuated up to now. And unfortunately, it's been perpetuated by us because we've got you. It's not us, the people in the congregations. It's by yourselves that say you're dealing with something for God. So if you just listen just now, you see that there's a lot of commandments and somebody tell you that you only have 10, right? They're commandments. Huh? And the other people who it's been mentioned time after time, different nations or different tribes, different set of people, it wasn't that Israel or the children of Israel or the Israelites were much preferred to those people because God have all kind of different people and them not like them. No, they were sought after. But disobedience stayed with them. Messengers and tribe and prophets were sent to them. They were spoken to. They were aided. They were told, and they were disobedient. But Jacob, as you all call him, it's not that God make a covenant with him, as much as he did, but his seed in the tribe, the nation that they came from, were consistent and trying to do good, and they would listen and obey. But as we are human mortals, we will sway here and sway there. But they did not curse God. They didn't curse God at any given time. Remember, there were 10 children that disliked Yusuf, his brother. And they lied to their father. And they hurt their father, Yaqub, on 3 occasions. And they placed their brother in a well. So there's lots of things. And God never sent them to Egypt. It is Joseph who brought them, who invited them into Egypt, but people were in Egypt because of hard times. People going to Egypt go to school. Egypt was like the capital. It was the center. So we weren't terrible all the time, as in the Egyptians. Joseph helped Egypt for what was coming. So he was able to rectify seasons and made provisions for hard time. Joseph. He invited his family, his brothers and his family to come into Egypt. Now listen good, pastors, and those of you who are meant to be so astute to biblical stuff. And they lived there. They weren't living there before. There were other people who are from that tribe, but not Israel, because Israel is Jacob. Get that in your heads. It was a human being, a father, that God baptized him, if you like, but God improved on his name. So I'm using baptism to say, well, when you take the children to church and get baptized or get christened, and this is where them get a name. The name is being revealed. Okay, so that's what happened to Yaqub. His sons, he will call Israel. So his children are his, right? So the 13 children of Israel, which is 13 children of Jacob. Dinah, his daughter, make the 13. So keep cool. Don't just rush and say, you don't know what you're talking about. Who told you that? So now you should paint the allegory, the story, the way it has arrived, even though they've got defects and deficiency in there, because we don't know who's talking these talk in that scripture there. We don't know who's doing that. And all this thing to do with blood and everything. God already said, blood no reach him. Stop this thing here. See? So there's a whole heap of talk about blood, right? And putting blood here and doing all these rarity, like some people that do voodoo, and, voodoo, and them do the chicken, and right? All of these things, you understand? And these were man's curiosities of millenniums. But God spoke and said, listen, them things now work. Stop it. Right? The blood of nothing don't reach me. Do you understand? All this torturing of people and everything when you're having bad seasons. So Joseph was an example of seasons, right? The seasons come, you have droughts, this, that, and the other. What to do? Huh? You understand? Because God levitated him, raised him, gave him a great gift of translating and interpreting dreams. And he had a great character and a great understanding, if you didn't know. See? So stop let people tell this guy called Paul that you must eliminate the first, disregard the what them call the Old Testament, which is the Torah, and come down to the new, which is nothing, because the new is a bunch of people that talk something about something, and you don't have nothing from Isa. Huh? You have some people that say Isa said this, right? Somebody said him said this. It's not that he said nothing. You understand? He did more running than teaching. But whatever him taught, you all haven't revealed to the world. Because he did teach. He did instruct. He did make reference to the commandments. Not 10, to the commandments. He did make reference to Moses and what was given to Moses and all the trials and tribulation that Moses been through in relation to the people, them being so stubborn, being so hard, and keep condemning and asking, listen here, did not the story of Moses is so important to live in? It's so important to live in? You think it's a Jeremy rhyme? It's true things. You know how much time they were instructed the people to do something, and them condemn him, say, no, hold on. Go back and tell him, say, listen, this is too hard. Now, could you imagine all those other people that God is telling Moses that he must move from among those people now, go far from them. Those people didn't have a tolerant messenger like Moses. Moses was extraordinarily tolerant and patient. And even when him get angry and him tired, it's God who talk to him, you know. And it's frightened Israel, not from God. It's the fact that the people, them, how they are. And no matter how much gift God give them, at some point them always have this remembrance of their alleged good days in Egypt, which wasn't bad days. They had some good ones, but it's God who want them to do good for self, because what happened? The leadership in Egypt has certainly changed. Ramses come and changed the everything. Moses' stepbrother. He changed everything. Caused problem. African people, black people who know these things don't want to say that. They want to keep painting their mysticisms and fallacies and pieces over this and all comes back together. Listen here, them love that. And what God is saying is, stop it. How you get there? So him take these people away from that. And that what is happening. That's what happened. It took them away from that. So now look at us today. There's a set of people who try to call themselves Jew. But what is harmonious, what is sincere, what is God-fearing, what is tender about these people? Nothing. So from that litmus test, you know, say that they're not authentic. And we know that. I mean, a lot of us do. A lot of people do, you know what I mean? Right? England was sending them to Africa. But by the time Begin and whoever else there was with them do their survey and whatever not, them said no. And one of the countries in Africa was Uganda. But they actually said no. So then there was a pause. There was right? Because Britain is the one who supplant them. Britain have done this badness time and time again, you know. Tasmania and New Zealand and Australia, just to name them two, devastating, and also the place called America. But it wasn't England first, you know. It was people, the Puritans and these people who were being ill-treated by their own people, which is still the English. And then they wanted to get away, save their life, and worship the way they want to worship. And it's the British spies or different people, they feel like, gone among them to see what they're up to. And as they journey to create something and everything, the king of the country, this country, decide, here what happened? The landscape look good. We're not going to let them. So then went across there. But what did they do? Both of them. Them killed the people that resided on the land. You think so them nice? So them do the same thing in South Africa. Them do the same thing in Africa, you know. But them do the same thing here with these people and put them in Al-Quds. And if they were there on a journey of being humble, noble, and God-fearing people and God-loving, chosen people on the earth, their visit should be impressionable, but it wasn't. Them had guns, just like the others. All of the things that England, them had guns. And the intention was to assault people and show people so that them stronger than them. And that's what has happened throughout their journey there. It had nothing to do with no God, nothing, and no sincerity, and no humbleness, and no humor, nothing at all. They're just vagabonds. Now the same vagabonds, them know a whole heap of trick, and them know how to twist the English language and the sentiments of people's hearts and everything. And that's what our brothers and sisters in that region, in those regions that them call Middle East, that's where they're weak. That's where they're weak. So their weakness makes those other people them strong, because them people are barbaric. And our brothers and sisters are so passive and gentle. 75 years of torment and hundreds of thousands of people being killed. And them lost all culture, recollections, and institutions. Come on. And you got some lay idiot black man them and women are saying that they weren't doing nothing anyway. So the people took the land, they weren't shut your mouth. How foolish can you be? So when your ancestors was back home in Africa, were they not doing nothing? So it was right for the British and the Portuguese and everybody for come and grab them, misuse them, mishandle them, and throw some of them off into the ocean for the sharks, them to have feasts and everything, and then sell. And listen here, it's such a shame. And you have black people now saying, oh, we shouldn't have no sympathy or even think or look at this thing and see, well, hold on, this is bad. Now, two wrongs don't make a right, but then again, I cannot say that our brothers did something to some celebration, because truth not come out. There's no truth. Everything that's true now is what we are see. What we are seeing. But them other thing, they're normal. The thing was staged. So I can't say nothing, so I'm not going to say nothing. If the people them do something and they plan something and so forth. Well, what we can say is that this prime minister of them people, this thing here was orchestrated. And the first thing him say is that them at war. The man never turn around and say, "Watch it, hey yo, A1, United Nations, what them call it, UNICEF, and all of these different human rights watches and everything." No, none of them things there happen. The man just had this beat up, mash up, kill up, right? And it's only last year that they mash up the place and the people them try to build back up the place. As soon as Ramadan come and start mash up the people them as a sneak we run it. So what was the United Nations doing? What was England and America doing? Nothing. We had a Ramadan where them just mash up everybody. Violate the mosque, them and beat up people and take people away. And accommodate people them homes and everything. What they didn't take, they mash up. Terrible. And then you have the young people that belong to these people that tell us straight away, we take what we want. What kind of civilized set of people is that? And you have black people that chat rubbish because they want friends. And now you have this old stigma among black people about Arabs, and they got this hate, and every time they open their foolish mouth, they must say something. Their good mouth that become foolish, apologies. Their good mouth that become foolish by the time they start uttering something. And they might try to build friends with online with American groups. I shout out Arabs, you know these Arabs. Yo. When your great-grandfather haunts you to write it, keep talk to him. Keep saying what you're saying. Yeah? Keep saying what you're saying. And then when you fall some certain type of sickness, don't make nobody come turn around and tell you it's because some Arab, you know. It's because your grandfather, your grandmother come and grab your backside, you fool. Eh? You understand? Hey, come on, man. Let us be real. Let us be real. You understand? And now the whole world can see. And the whole world of these powerful guys, England, France, and Germany, I don't know why they're doing this, the Germans, and this US, are standing by saying, okay, do what you're doing, we're with you. You know what they're actually saying, innit? We're above the law. You know what they're actually saying, innit? The only people, if any of them is left alive when we do what we want to do, is left, we would take them to the Hague. We would arrest them, hand them over to America, and take them down to the Hague. And that them I deal with. But if you're going to take somebody down to the Hague, take yourself also. So then we see that there's a level playing field. You know, you have referee now, and you have these other people that's supposed to televise something, and if the people then behave a certain way, and referee don't feel so that him eyes is any good anymore, then they want replay. So what the hell you imply the referee for? You understand? And then you got linesman, and the linesman say him not sure if the man offside or onside, and the coach of the other team said he was offside, and now them go to the camera. Right. And then that's what these Britain, America, France, and Germany is doing to the Palestinian people, behaving like 75 years they never see nothing. France are killed with their Mali and then placed there for yonks, and always smiling and everything. I don't know if him give woman to the African brother them. Them man they need to be strung up because look how much woman the Africa. So why you want some French woman? What kind of stupidness goes on, man? And then we're so rich already. So why you mistreating the people and for some French man, some British man, some American man? What is all that about? Huh? So the God that you work with is the same God that them a work with, because they just promote that something, right? So them got you in their pocket. They don't care a damn about you, right? And I say you because I'm not saying us. You understand? But pastor, I keep telling you, the Almighty God want shepherds and fishermen. He don't want no blasted pastor. You're a liar. You understand? And you go theological school, and then you've been instructed what to do, what not to do, what to say, what not to say. You understand? So look at the people them. What are the people them doing? Is you who live that call themselves pastor and preacher. The people them is not even flux. They're stagnant. They make themselves believe something. And then to accommodate something, them turn around and tell themselves the Holy Spirit get them. And now that now work too tough. When I dance, and I not just play the tambourine and everything, you know. Because you know, so we black people, we can sing. Right? You not just do that. You do body move. You do shoulder move. You understand? Lot of dances that we dash for a long time, because them just come at a certain time with a few beats, you know? Belly move, belly move. Yo, when I do them something there, it's sad. It's sad. But what is happening now is expose the good from the bad across the whole earth, just like it happened with George Floyd. And America said they're going to make amendments to their constitution to include us so that racism becomes something of the past. And people who are racist will be dealt with true to the law. It hasn't happened, it will not happen. Then move on to something else. Then take Leviticus and make it legal, make it something that's natural. And all you people who call pastor and everything, bishop and this, you're not saying nothing. Say you make God obsolete. That's what, well, not God. You make your own Bible obsolete. So we don't know what scriptures you work with. Anyway, Black history. We want to take you all now. See me? I'm going to mess up my thing. I want to take you all now down to Brazil. You see? I want to take you down to Brazil and make you all understand that African history, I haven't finished with it. I just got started. Yeah, you know, African history. So we are going to Brazil and show you how we're being mistreated in the world as black people, African people. Right? Outside of Africa, Brazil have the biggest population, over 90 million black people. See? So, may God Almighty bless me, bless Uno. Come listen, come watch, come listen.
This is all but a facade that fails to portray the real issues with a country that has its ties to the Atlantic slave trade. When you hear about Brazil, the most common things that come to mind are its natural beauty and cultural riches. The country boasts the Amazon rainforest, the Pantanal wetlands, and breathtaking beaches like Copacabana and Ipanema in Rio de Janeiro. These iconic landscapes are often featured in travel documentaries, advertisements, and films, contributing to Brazil's image as a paradise for nature enthusiasts and adventure seekers. The country is also famous for its music genres like samba and bossa nova, its lively carnival celebrations, and its delicious cuisine. Unfortunately, this is all but a facade that fails to portray the real issues with a country that has its ties to the Atlantic slave trade. While Brazil has long been hailed as a beautiful and exotic world destination, a place where carnival thrives and soccer is a religion, it is a nation that harbors a deep-seated hatred for its black population. Despite the country's mosaic of ethnicities, Afro-Brazilians continue to be marginalized, underrepresented, and systematically excluded from critical aspects of Brazilian society. From education to housing, the justice system to political representation, and even the media, The lived experiences of black Brazilians expose a troubling and persistent reality: Brazil's historical legacy of racism and inequality. In this video, we are going to reveal what it's truly like to be black in Brazil, peeling back the layers of Brazil's complex social fabric to expose the stark truths of what it truly means to be black in a country whose progress was built on the backs of African slaves. From examining the challenges faced in accessing quality education to the struggles of finding decent housing, we will shed light on the multifaceted experiences of Afro-Brazilians, whose resilience and determination shine despite the formidable obstacles they encounter. Before we get right into the video, please smash the like button and subscribe to the channel to keep informed of our eye-opening black narrative. Brazil is a melting point of cultures of indigenous peoples, Africans brought over during the transatlantic slave trade, European colonizers, and waves of immigrants from all corners of the globe. The roots of Brazil's racial diversity trace back to its indigenous population. Long before the arrival of European colonizers, the land was inhabited by a multitude of indigenous tribes, each with its own distinct language, culture, and customs. These native peoples played a vital role in shaping the Brazilian landscape and culture. However, their population dramatically declined due to diseases brought by the Europeans and violent conflicts, leading to the displacement and marginalization of many indigenous communities. The arrival of Portuguese explorers in the early 16th century marked the beginning of a new era in Brazil's history. The Portuguese colonization introduced European culture, language, and religion to the region. This influx of Portuguese settlers laid the foundation for a predominantly European-descended population that would become known as the White Brazilians. The intermarriage between Portuguese settlers and indigenous people gave rise to a mestizo population known as the caboclos. One of the most significant factors in Brazil's racial diversity is the Atlantic slave trade. Millions of African men, women, and children were forcibly brought to Brazil to work on plantations, in mines, and as domestic servants. The legacy of this brutal system is evident in the substantial Afro-Brazilian population. Over time, African cultural elements profoundly influenced Brazilian music, dance, religion, and cuisine. In the late 19th and early 20th centuries, Brazil saw an influx of Asian immigrants, primarily from Japan. These immigrants arrived in search of better economic opportunities and established themselves in various regions of Brazil. The Japanese-Brazilian community, known as the Nikkei, has made significant contributions to the country's cultural and economic life. Their presence adds another layer to Brazil's diverse racial composition. While Brazil's racial diversity is a source of pride, it also comes with challenges. The color of one's skin greatly determines their chances of success in the country, which means for black Brazilians and Afro-Brazilians, it is not the best world to live in. This divide stems from a long history that began after the abolition of slavery in 1888. Rather than actively working to integrate black people into society, the Brazilian authorities crafted a carefully constructed narrative of racial harmony. They aimed to portray Brazil as a unique haven where all races coexist peacefully. However, this narrative hides a painful reality that many Brazilians, particularly black and mixed-race individuals, continue to suffer. An estimated 91 million Brazilians are of African ancestry, according to the 2010 census, which found that more than half, 50.7% of the Brazilian population now identified as preto, black, or pardo, mixed ethnicity. Many live in quilombos, which were created by fugitive African slaves during the 17th and 18th century. According to the Fundacao Cultural Palmares, there are around 16 million of these descendants, known as quilombolas, in around 5,000 rural communities across Brazil. The highest concentrations are in once inaccessible areas of Bahia, Para, Mato Grosso, Goiás, and Minas Gerais. Quilombos also exist in major cities like Rio de Janeiro and Sao Paulo. Quilombos have been recognized since the mid-1990s. Despite their sizable demographic, Afro-Brazilians still face major disadvantages and institutionalized discrimination. The severe inequalities faced by Afro-descendants are reflected in every area of their lives, from health and education to employment and wealth. Being black in Brazil entails a complex and often challenging journey that spans generations, reaching back to the end of slavery and persisting to the present day. The legacy of slavery left a mark on the lives of Afro-Brazilians, shaping their experiences and influencing their socioeconomic status, access to opportunities, and overall quality of life. The formal abolition of slavery in Brazil came with the signing of the Lei Áurea, golden law. However, this watershed moment did not mark the end of the struggles faced by newly emancipated Afro-Brazilians. The promise of freedom was marred by the harsh reality of economic and social exclusion. Many former slaves were left without land, education, or means of support, effectively pushing them into a cycle of poverty. In the years following abolition, Afro-Brazilians continued to face widespread discrimination, prejudice, and economic marginalization. Despite being free, they were denied access to education, decent employment, and political representation. The legacy of slavery lingered in the form of racial segregation and deeply ingrained biases that persisted in Brazilian society. Being black in Brazil often comes with a sense of invisibility within society, where systemic biases and prejudices persist. This invisibility is frequently reflected in media representation, where black voices, stories, and perspectives may be underrepresented or misrepresented. Additionally, political offices have historically not done enough to address the specific needs and concerns of the black community. In media, the underrepresentation of black Brazilians perpetuates stereotypes and contributes to their marginalization. It can lead to a lack of diverse narratives and perspectives, reinforcing a limited and biased view of black lives. Black individuals may struggle to find relatable role models in the media, which can have a profound impact on self-esteem and aspirations. Media representations often perpetuated harmful stereotypes about black Brazilians, depicting them as criminals or reinforcing negative biases. These portrayals further marginalized Afro-Brazilians, creating a damaging cycle of discrimination and stigmatization. In political offices, the concerns and experiences of black Brazilians have often been overlooked or sidelined. Policies addressing racial inequality may be inadequate or insufficiently enforced, leaving many black communities without the support they need. Political representation of black individuals can also be limited, making it challenging to advocate for change from within the system. Structural racism has become deeply entrenched in Brazil's social fabric, with Afro-Brazilians disproportionately affected. They were relegated to the margins of society, living in impoverished urban neighborhoods and facing limited access to healthcare, education, and other essential services. The color of their skin often determined their socioeconomic status, reinforcing a cycle of inequality. Education. Being black in Brazil often means facing significant challenges when it comes to accessing quality education. These challenges are not a reflection of one's family background or personal aspirations, but are deeply rooted in systemic inequalities that persist within the Brazilian education system. For many black Brazilians, the pursuit of quality education can be an uphill battle from the outset. Despite having the same aspirations and potential as their white counterparts, they often encounter a range of barriers that hinder their educational opportunities. Disparities in educational opportunities persist, with Afro-Brazilians more likely to attend underfunded schools and face inadequate resources. Many Afro-Brazilian students attend schools in underprivileged neighborhoods that lack basic resources such as textbooks, well-trained teachers, and adequate facilities. In contrast, schools in wealthier areas, which predominantly serve white students, often enjoy better resources and infrastructure. In Rio de Janeiro, a study conducted by the Instituto Brasileiro de Geografia e Estatística, Brazilian Institute of Geography and Statistics, revealed that schools located in predominantly black neighborhoods receive fewer financial resources from the government compared to those in predominantly white neighborhoods. This disparity directly affects the quality of education Afro-Brazilian students receive. Afro-Brazilians face disparities in both school enrollment and completion rates. A higher percentage of Afro-Brazilian children drop out of school compared to their white peers. This phenomenon can be attributed to a range of factors, including socioeconomic barriers, a lack of support systems, and the persistent effects of historical discrimination. The main Brazilian university in terms of research, number of students, and quality of education is the University of São Paulo. The way of selecting the students is done through a rigorous college entrance exam in which competition is extremely difficult. At the university, 79.5% of the students are white versus 1% of blacks. Only 6% of the students are mulattoes, while 12.9% are Orientals. The population of blacks and mulattoes in the state of São Paulo amounts to 33.1%, while the yellow population does not exceed 1.8%. Thus, Blacks and mulattoes are underrepresented in the University of Sao Paulo by almost 5 times. Income disparities. Being black in Brazil often comes with the harsh reality that earning the best wages and accessing the most lucrative job opportunities can be elusive aspirations. This is not due to any inherent limitations on the part of black Brazilians, but is deeply rooted in systemic racial inequalities that persist within the country's workforce and industries. Income inequality in Brazil is glaring, with Afro-Brazilians consistently earning less than their white counterparts. This income gap persists across various industries and professions. According to data from the Brazilian Institute of Geography and Statistics, in 2020, the average monthly income of white workers was approximately 73% higher than that of black workers. This income disparity underscores the systemic bias within the labor market. Whites earn on average 5.25 times the minimum salary. Blacks earn 2.43 times the salary, with mulattoes 2.54 times the minimum salary at the end of every working month. Therefore, the average income of a white person is more than double the average income of a black person. In many cases, black Brazilians find themselves disproportionately represented in lower-paying, less prestigious jobs. They may encounter limited opportunities for career advancement, wage growth, and job security. This wage gap persists even when individuals possess the same qualifications and skills as their white counterparts. Almost 14.6% of blacks are household servants. Only 6.1% of whites work in this function. There are 2.5 times more blacks than whites working in this less qualified activity. Among mulattoes, the percentage is 8.4%. Discrimination within the workplace is another significant challenge. Black employees may face bias in hiring, promotions, and performance evaluations, which can hinder their professional growth. These experiences of discrimination can also contribute to a hostile work environment, adversely affecting job satisfaction and overall well-being. Criminal justice system. One of the most disturbing consequences of structural racism in Brazil is the disproportionate presence of Afro-Brazilians within the country's criminal justice system. Afro-Brazilians often find themselves targeted by law enforcement solely because of the color of their skin. Racial profiling and police violence have been persistent issues, with many cases of excessive use of force leading to tragic outcomes. The case of Amarildo de Souza, a construction worker and resident of Rio de Janeiro's Rosina favela, garnered international attention. In 2013, Amarildo was taken into police custody for a routine questioning and was never seen again. His disappearance sparked outrage and protests, shedding light on the violence faced by Afro-Brazilians at the hands of the police. Overall, Afro-Brazilians are more likely to be arrested compared to their white counterparts for the same offenses. This disparity in arrest rates begins early in life, with Afro-Brazilian youth facing higher chances of interaction with the criminal justice system. In 2020, data from the Brazilian Public Security Forum revealed that black individuals in Brazil were 2.7 times more likely to be victims of lethal violence than white individuals. This alarming statistic reflects the disproportionate targeting of Afro-Brazilians by both law enforcement and criminal actors. Even when Afro-Brazilians are arrested for non-violent offenses, they often face harsher sentencing compared to white individuals. This disparity in sentencing contributes to the overcrowding of prisons with Afro-Brazilian inmates. The rate of imprisonment per racial group in Sao Paulo is 76.8 for every 100,000 white inhabitants and 140 for every 100,000 mulattoes, increasing to 421 for every 100,000 Negroes. This means that a black person has 5.4 more chances to be in prison than a white one. While whites are underrepresented in the prisons of Sao Paulo, blacks are overrepresented. According to the Department of Penitentiary Matters of Sao Paulo, in a research done in one of its prisons in 1997, whites, Negroes, and mulattoes had differing sentences according to the crimes they committed. With homicides, the average sentence for whites was 20.1 years. For mulattoes, this charge resulted in 25 years, and for Negroes, 35.7. Besides, whites had fewer convictions than Negroes, 1.4 convictions against 1.8. This means that besides being convicted more often, their sentences are proportionally longer. All of these data allow us to come to a simple conclusion. Whites have better living standards, more access to education, better jobs and salaries, attend public universities more, free of charge, participate less than Negroes in the justice system because they are less prosecuted, imprisoned, and convicted. If it is true that after the abolition of the slaves, Brazil had not erected a new system of racial segregation, with prohibition of marriages between whites and Negroes, or legal prohibition of Negroes from attending all white schools, it is also true that this brief list of data shows us that, in regard to racial matters, Brazil are at least an unjust country. In the 21st century, statistics reveal a sobering truth about racial inequality in Brazil. Black and brown Brazilians bear the brunt of police violence, lack access to education, and face limited representation in decision-making circles. Being black in Brazil also means you get to be part of a staggering 64% of the unemployed population, and you are almost 3 times more likely to fall victim to homicides. This staggering inequality is reflected in their income as well. On average, they earn only half of what their white counterparts do. Profound inequality is also evident in cities too, with many Afro-Brazilians forced to reside in the most dangerous urban areas. With little opportunity to improve their lives, young Afro-Brazilian men in particular have been drawn into drug gangs and violence, an acute issue in a country where, according to the Mexico-based organization Seguridad, 19 of the 50 most violent cities in the world are located. Afro-descendant youth have been disproportionately exposed to these threats. Homicide remains the main cause of death among Brazilian youth, particularly affecting young black males living in favelas and urban areas. Faced with situations of extreme violence, police and state security forces frequently resort to the use of lethal force in an effort to curb the violence. Brazil remains one of the most violent countries in the world, with an estimated 61,600 homicides in 2016. Of these, black male youth are the most vulnerable, with police executions no exception. Of the 4,224 people executed by police in 2016, more than 3/4, 76%, were black, and 80% aged between 12 and 29. The situation grew even worse the following year. In 2017, 63,880 people lost their lives, an increase of 3%, and again the majority of victims were young, male, poor, and black. Bringing an end to black discrimination in Brazil is an ongoing and complex struggle, made even more challenging by the fact that black individuals are often shut out of the political sphere. This exclusion from political representation exacerbates the systemic racism and discrimination that persist in the country. Black representation in Brazilian politics has historically been characterized by significant underrepresentation and systemic challenges. Despite being a country with one of the largest black populations outside of Africa, Afro-Brazilians have struggled to gain equitable access to political power and influence. Black people constitute just 18% of Congress and a mere 4.7% of executives in major companies. The underrepresentation of black individuals in Brazilian politics is evident at various levels of government, from local municipalities to the federal level. This underrepresentation extends to both elected positions and key political appointments, limiting the capacity of Afro-Brazilians to shape policies that directly impact their communities. One contributing factor to the underrepresentation of Afro-Brazilians in politics is the persistent racial and socioeconomic disparities that limit their access to education and resources. These disparities create barriers to entry for individuals seeking political office, as many lack the necessary resources, networks, and educational opportunities to pursue a career in politics. The racial divide in Brazil's political landscape is also reflected in the racial composition of political parties. Many political parties in Brazil have historically been led and dominated by white elites, making it challenging for black individuals to ascend to leadership positions within these parties. Also, campaign financing and fundraising often favor candidates with established networks and financial resources, perpetuating the exclusion of Afro-Brazilians who may lack access to such resources. This financial barrier hinders the ability of black candidates to compete effectively in elections. Brazil's deeply rooted racial prejudices and stereotypes have also played a role in limiting black representation in politics. Negative stereotypes and biases against black individuals can affect their electability and lead to discriminatory treatment by voters, political opponents, and the media. Despite these challenges, there have been notable achievements in increasing black representation in Brazilian politics in recent years. Quota systems and affirmative action policies such as the Lei de Cotas, quota law, have been implemented to promote diversity in public office. leading to an increase in the number of Afro-Brazilian elected officials in some regions. Nonetheless, achieving equitable representation for Afro-Brazilians remains an ongoing struggle. The path to greater black representation in Brazilian politics involves addressing systemic racism, promoting educational opportunities, and reforming campaign financing practices to level the playing field for all aspiring politicians. Even with the progress being made, there is still a long way to go, as Brazil continues to focus on whiteness and promoting white superiority. In recent years, racial tensions have flared, exacerbated by the election of a far-right president, Jair Bolsonaro. His inflammatory rhetoric has fueled animosity, sparking clashes between different racial groups. The situation has worsened with the COVID-19 pandemic, which has disproportionately affected black Brazilians. Already earning 57% of the average white income, they have been hit harder by job losses and fatalities. The police's use of force, often fatal, has escalated dramatically, with police brutality reaching alarming levels. In an alarming twist, an anti-crime bill was passed, offering police officers a broad self-defense justification, which critics argue allows excessive force to go unchecked. Vice President Hamilton Mourão's assertion that racism doesn't exist in Brazil underscores the state's denial of its deep-rooted issues. This denial only perpetuates the suffering of black Brazilians as they continue to face systemic racism and discrimination on a daily basis. The experience of being black in Brazil is unfortunately marked by pervasive racism, systemic discrimination, and a daily struggle for equality. This narrative is not intended to perpetuate a hopeless outlook, but rather to shed light on the stark realities faced by black Brazilians in their quest for justice and equality. From education and employment to housing and healthcare, systemic biases persist, undermining the aspirations and potential of countless individuals solely because of the color of their skin. The historical legacy of slavery and colonialism continues to cast a long shadow, manifesting itself in a society where opportunities are often determined by racial identity. The underrepresentation and misrepresentation of black voices in media, coupled with limited political representation, further contribute to this marginalization. These factors collectively reinforce a sense of invisibility for black Brazilians, as their stories, contributions, and concerns are often overlooked or misrepresented. However, it is crucial to emphasize that the black community in Brazil is not passive in the face of these challenges. Throughout history, black Brazilians have demonstrated resilience, strength, and a relentless commitment to achieving equality. Movements, organizations, and individuals are actively working to dismantle the structures of racism and discrimination, advocating for change and justice on multiple fronts. While the road to achieving racial equality in Brazil is long and arduous, progress is being made. Public awareness of racial issues is growing, and there is increasing acknowledgement of the need for systemic change. The fight for a more just and equitable society, where one's opportunities are not determined by the color of their skin, continues. This brings us to the end of this video. Tell us what you think in the comment section, as we are always interested in your thoughts. As always, don't forget to like the video, subscribe to our channel, and share our videos to let more people know the truth about blacks and to hear their own part of the narratives. Thanks for watching.
They never heed our words at all. Now they are at war. Tell me what they're fighting for. One by one their kingdoms fall. Nations go to war. Tell me what they're fighting for. They never heed our messenger call. Now they are at war. Tell me what they're fighting for. Fighting for. It is written in the book of a prophecy. All that is happening is destiny. See what has become of humanity because of vanity. Always struggle for earthly supremacy. Man-made disaster spreading globally because there's no love for the Almighty. We see these calamities. When nations go fighting for. They never hear your messenger call. Now they are at war. Tell me what they're fighting for. One by one their kingdoms fall. Nations go to war. Tell me what they're fighting for. They never hear your words at all. Now they are at war. Tell me what they're fighting for. Fighting for. Man-made mountains they idolize. See them crumble before their eyes. But before they could realize, mankind die like flies. The wages of sin is death. Oh yes, but the gift of eternal life. Still doesn't go to war. Tell me what they're fighting for. They never hear your words at all. Now they are at war. Tell me what they're fighting for.
Yes, people. So we want to go somewhere else again, you know, because that was Black history. That's us. You know what I mean? Most devastating situation they both in the earth. See? And lots more like that. You understand? Seriously. So we'll take a glance because the Almighty will give us a glance at Al-Quds. So may I take that one, Al-Quds, and may I take ours? Because we're one people that have suffered. May I tell you, I've suffered. And the thing is, they mentioned health and education. You understand? And then I'm a victim of society because constantly how they're being dealt with by the police and the whole state, the whole system. But then you know what you have? You have a lot of Caucasian people that leave them homes in different parts of Europe and the US and go down there, you know, and just rampantly sex the woman them. Yeah. Brazil. You see how much breed they have down there? Oh gosh, man. See it? Them go down there and sire our women. See it? Yeah. Show them stay. So we'll go over to Al-Quds now and bring to you all that which is happening.
Why does the United States support Israel? Well, there's a history.
So before me say we bring to you what is happening.
Why does the United States support
the right
Israel?
thing.
Well,
Listen.
there's a history, and a very interesting one. It actually goes back a long time. One thing to remember is that Christian Zionism is a very powerful force, which goes back long before Jewish Zionism. In England, particularly, Christian Zionism was a powerful force among British elites. It's part of the motivation for the Balfour Declaration and for Britain's support for Jewish colonization of Israel. Remember, the Bible said, you know, and that's a big part of British elite culture. Same in the United States. Woodrow Wilson was a devout Christian who read the Bible every day. So did Harry Truman. In the Roosevelt administration, one of the leading officials, Harold Ickes, once described the return of the Jews to Palestine as the greatest event in history. It's realizing the lesson of the Bible. These are deeply religious countries in which the biblical commands, so-called, are taken quite literally. Also, this is just part of colonization. This is the last phase of European colonization. And notice that the countries that are most strongly in support of Israel are not just the United States. It's the United States, Australia, and Canada, the offshoots of England, Anglosphere sometimes called, unusual forms of imperialism. These are settler colonial societies, societies in which not like India, not like the British in India, say, societies, South Africa was a little like this, or Algeria under the French. Settler colonial societies in which the settlers came in, essentially eliminated the native population. Also driven by religious principles, very religious groups driven by Christian Zionism. Those are major cultural factors. There are also significant geostrategic factors. You go back to 1948, there was actually a split between the State Department and the Pentagon in the United States over how to react to the new state of Israel. The State Department was not committed strongly to Israeli conquests, the establishment of the state, and was concerned about the refugees. It wanted an implementation of the refugee problem. The Pentagon, on the other hand, was very impressed with Israel's military potential. The Israeli military successes, if you look back at the internal record and declassified, the Joint Chiefs of Staff described Israel as the second largest military force in the region after Turkey and a potential base for U.S. power in the region. That continued. Can't run through the whole record, but in 1958, when there was a serious crisis in the region, Israel was the only state that strongly cooperated with Britain and the United States, and it won plenty of support from the governments and the military for that reason. 1967 is when the current relations with Israel were pretty much established. Israel performed a major service to the United States by destroying a secular Arab nationalism, a major enemy of the United States, and supporting radical Islam, which the U.S. supported. And it continues right until the present. Right now, we saw an example of that just during the latest Gaza attack. You recall that at one point, Israel began to run out of munitions during the assault, despite the fact that it's armed to the teeth. The United States provided Israel with additional munitions through the Pentagon. And notice where they were taken from. These were U.S. munitions pre-positioned in Israel for eventual use by U.S. forces. One of many signs of how Israel is regarded as essentially a military offshoot of the United States. Very close intelligence relations that go way back, many other connections. And the media tend to take up, to support the policy of the government with very few, kind of little questioning around the edges, but basically accept the policy. So, for example, take another issue. Take the U.S. invasion of Iraq. You cannot find the phrase U.S. invasion of Iraq in the U.S. media. There was obviously an invasion, a blatant act of aggression, a textbook case of what the Nuremberg trials called the supreme international crime. Cannot be mentioned. President Obama is praised as an opponent of the invasion. And what did he say? He said it's a mistake. It's a strategic blunder. We're not going to get away with it. That's the kind of opposition that you heard from the German general staff during Hitler's invasion of Russia. It's a blunder. Shouldn't do it. We should knock off England first. That's regarded as opposition. Same in Vietnam. There's now a commemoration underway, big commemoration of U.S. sacrifices in Vietnam. Try to find the phrase U.S. invasion of South Vietnam there or anywhere in the past year since 1961 when it took place. Non-existent, maybe on Democracy Now, what I write, but way out at the fringe. And this is not unique to the United States. Take, say, Britain. Right now there's interesting debates in the British literary journals, like the Times Literary Supplement, as to whether Britain should finally begin to recognize the genocidal, the word that's used, genocidal character of British colonization hundreds of years ago. Should Britain begin to face it? You can ask that question in many places. The tendency of the intellectual community to go along like a herd in support of state power, private power, is just overwhelming. Intellectuals like to think of themselves as dissident, critical, courageous, standing up against power. Absolutely untrue. You look at the historical record, that's a small fringe, and they're usually punished. The mainstream tends to be what was once called a herd of independent minds, marching in support of state power. Nothing new here. Unfortunate, you have to fight against it, not new. Why does the United States support Israel? Well,
get up in the morning slaving for bread, sir, so that every mouth can be fed. Oh, me Israelites, get up in the morning slaving for bread, sir, so that every mouth can be fed. Oh, me Israelites. Wife and my kids step back up and I leave me. Darling, she said I was yours to receive. Oh, the Israelites. Shut them a tear up choices ago. I don't want to end up like Bonnie and Clyde. Oh, the Israelites. After a storm, there must be a calm. If you catch me in the farm, you sound your alarm. Oh, the Israelites. In the morning, slaving for bread, sir, so that every mouth can be fed. Oh, the Israelites, sir. Take my wife and my kids to get back up and not leave me. Darling, she said that was yours to receive. Oh, the Israelites, sir. Look, you chuck them a tear up choices ago. I don't want to end up like Bonnie and Clyde. Oh, the Israelites. After a storm, there must be a calm. If I put you in the palm, you sound your alarm. Oh, the Israelites. Yeah. I'm wondering, I'm working so hard.
think you're in heaven, but you live in
Everything I do, somebody see me. I can't hide. Everything I do, somebody see me. I can't hide. If I'm doing wrong, if I'm doing right, somebody see me. Lord, they gotta see me. If I take out a Susie to the movie, somebody see me. If I take out a Sandy to the party, they sure to see me. If I'm doing wrong, if I'm doing right, somebody see me. Yes, they always see me. Even when I walk alone on the streets, they see me. When I walk in a bus, it's a Lord of mercy, they spot me. Yeah, they always spot me. Yeah, they always see me. Everything I do, somebody see me. I can't hide. No. Everything I do, somebody see me. I can't hide. If I'm doing wrong, if I'm doing right, somebody see me. Lord, somebody see me. Taking a Susie to the movie, they gotta see me. I guess I gotta change my way, they always spot me. I guess I've gotta really change my style, yeah. Why they always...
Yes, Wayne Wade. May I tell you, man, mighty Wayne Wade. Come here.
oh, na 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 na. Oh, na 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 na. Life's nothing but an illusion in this world of confusion, war and separation, dismantling this nation, and because of that, certain people turn informal. Yes, sell out their brethren and sisters for less than a dollar. They will do anything just to get some pay. I know that a many careless Ethiopian has gone astray, but tell them say Rastaman no work with the DEA.
See, I tell you, I have some of them who just want to make our money. Well, then we don't even know if them are Rasta, because them just could be all funky. You know what I mean? Them buy something there, or the barber shop and just, styling. So we don't know. I tell you, things terrible. One more after this, we're gone.
Ooh, na 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 na. Na 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 na. Na 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 na.
The mighty Glenn Kusha, Washington. Listen here, Salad Poor. Come here.
Ooh, na 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 na. Na 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 na. Na 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 na. When God created man, He made us champions. He made us kings of the world over every little thing in the world. But man got headstrong, moving along, and dared to mess up the plan of being come of evil against you. Come away from the evil one.
See, don't want them type of reggae again, you know. The people them don't want that, I tell you. So we say guidance, we're gone, you know. So if we don't see we know so that we put two things there that hard, you know. Brazil, African history, the despicable things that are happening to us in the diaspora. Hey, yo, if we go all the way up to Venezuela, Colombia, and Panama, oh gosh, man, on no one sleep. Seriously. I mean, African people that's conscious, you will not sleep. It worries. Trust. Worries. You understand? So, when you get a reflection of 75 years of Al-Quds, Palestine, but you get 100 and something years of us, and it stop. See? It's not stopping. And when we don't have no institution of our own, you know, so that we can't be telling her, you know, or revealing to ourselves what has actually been happening to us, you see? And help to prevent it. Because without institutions, we shot, especially in education and in health. See? And food. I tell you, them have way under full control. So anybody want to say no, that because you're assimilated and you feel so that something will go on. You understand? And usually it's that, you know what I mean? You just assimilated and everything. And those who are biracial and everything, and not your fault. You understand? So you just have to survive just like we as a human being. So if somebody are going to tell you so that you're less than a human being, don't bother with them. Don't bother waste so much time. You understand? But if the system attempt to use you against your father or your mother who is African, then you have to make a serious decision. You see? That's it. So we who are cannot walk in your shoes. We can only be supportive to you, and hopefully you're supportive to us, and we're just cool, you know. We just get on. We just get along, not just to get on. You see? And so on. So I know I said that in America when I get a big fight from certain places, certain quarters, see, spend not much time with them. What it's gonna do? It's gonna drive in a wall. Now, if your mother is Caucasian, and your mother side them dash you, and you come to the African side now, and then resent you, oh gosh, man, you have no place to lay your head. You understand? These are difficulties. You see? So those people from the African side that attack, what them attack, if they're talking anything to put you down, walk away from them. Don't spend too much time there about you're reasoning about something. Cause what are you going to be reasoning about? If it was your father, you know what I mean? That's what he did. And your mother. You see? So you can't just turn around and say, what you don't like this one and you like that one. You have to like both of them. Stop them things. Don't let people tell you how you must be. You understand? And if he's a sister, and them look upon you, them say, yo, you know what? She looks sexy and this and that and that. Don't make them make up their mind about how them like you because of your beauty or your shape. You understand? Seriously. So just allow them. Let them carry on with what them carry on to. Africa huge. So if you never traveled there yet, travel. If you never traveled to the Caribbean and one of your parents is from the Caribbean, travel there. But it's your mind. You can't just carry the rough old experience that you may have had with you, because it's difficult. And then look at everybody to be the same. Nah. You understand? It's not there. But then you have a golden key. Make use of it. Guidance.
Now defend the poor and fatherless, Georgia. Rid them out of the hand of the wicked, I beg you. For they know not, neither do they understand, they walk on in darkness. All the foundation of this earth are out of course. For I have
Listen.
From Africa to Jamaica, alright now. From Italy
Tell them.
to Liberia,
Tell them.
rise, black man. Take this, take a little stand. Show them that you can. You got the right to show it. You got the right, you know it. I don't care. We don't need no evidence now. No evidence now. I don't get. We don't need no evidence now. And I know. From VIP to sombrero. Ooh, yeah. From Kingston.
Yeah, you might tell you something, you know. Some of the greatest musicians of Jamaica come from Cuba. See? Cuba, you know. I tell you, man. And some of the greatest influential people came from Panama. See? Oh, gosh, man. My family. So stop it. Don't let nobody make you just bend down and bow down. And you understand? Because you're a human being. God love you. He love all of us. Come here.
Wouldn't like to be there. No, I wouldn't like to be no in this number. It's a familiar number. Kind of people in this number. It's a familiar number. Kind of people. 8 million careless Ethiopians. 8 million careless Ethiopians shall go down to Babylon. Let me tell you, careless Ethiopians, people. I would like to be there. I would like to be, yeah, in this number. It's a peculiar number, kind of people in this number. It's a peculiar number, kind of people.
Menelik.
There is no speech or language where their voice is not heard. Oh.
Kenyatta,
Day
you know.
and today uttered speech. Night and tonight show
Vernon Johns.
knowledge.
Yes. Most influential person for Marcus Garvey.
And let me tell you
Mr.
now,
Vaughn. Both of them.
I would like to be there.
Yes.
I would like to be, yeah, in this number. It's a peculiar number, kind of people in this number. It's a peculiar number, kind of people. 144,000. These are they that were seen
she loves the living God. These are they who have been through great tribulation. That's why I'm telling you, I would like to be there. Yeah, I would like to be, yeah, in this number. It's a peculiar number. In this number, it's a peculiar number. Kind of people in this number. It's a peculiar number.
Yes, in that number. So when people are trying to tell us that the Almighty is divisive and so on, now you can see why there's something here, or it play out this way. You understand? And then you have those people who crusaded, you know what I mean, back there in the day. And this country was one of the leaders in the crusades. So the question is now you have to go to the British Library and all the top library of this country and go back there. Don't go to 1948, go all the way back there. And then ask yourself, what the hell were they doing? I mean, or then go so far and interfere with people and kill people. They didn't go over there and say, yo, come on, tell us what you do, how you do what you do, and everything. See? And if people that make out say that they know the language, they don't know nothing. They were just barbaric. See? And it never stopped. It never stopped. The Roman Empire crumbled. And these people with their plague and all of these different things, and then here comes our ancestors then in the Renaissance and shed light and give them cleanliness and hygiene and everything, education, everything. God, they were just murderers. And them turn around and them start murder themselves. This is their history. European people, man, especially this country, they start kill themselves, you know. So see, we know we there in this part of the world for 850 years, you know. So I mean nobody to come on and tell us something like, yo, we listen here. They're discounting that and they want to try to work something else. That's what they're doing. Menelik, Line of Judah. You understand? So they're making these things fair seeming to you, and so forth. But with their Spain, now the people who hurt us the most, not that there's a pain that is greater than another pain, but the ones who start the thing, and everybody wants about some Arab and all that, is the Portuguese. You're going all the way back to these Portuguese and these Spanish people. Yeah? You understand? But look what we did with Spain. We never destroyed Spain. Nothing like that happened. We elevated Spain and we elevated Europe. You see, those people are giving a shortcut about Moors and Moors and Moors, which mean African black skin. Them not telling no history because they stuck, they wrap up and all the supremacy talk and all the black talk and all the racial talk, that whatever them get is from damn Google and some little Jeremy Rhyme places. So they don't tell you about the real harmonious and the real distinctive that of work, any work whatsoever, in terms of development that Africans did here in Europe. They don't go there. And some of them are not able to read fluently. And some of them, not some, most people cannot read Arabic. Because the greater proportion of the documentation out of Spain is in Arabic. and Hebrew and Spanish. Not Hebrew, stuff all, not Hebrew. See, these people confuse my head. Latin. But we want to see a civilization, a people that was working, developing, structuralizing, not just in some harem and all this. No, stop it, man. The people them who like triviality, them come with all of that and just keep talking about Moors and Fez and the star, the crescent and everything. Like they want to build something into something. Yo, this crescent is natural because it's the moon. And the star is natural because it's the star. It's in the clouds. It's up there, sir. What are you reading into that? Huh? If the Ottomans and whoever was before them chose that as a signal for their flag and everything, then you have to look at yours. Garvey chose colors for the UNIA. Kwame Nkrumah and the Ghanaian bodies chose, and so it just went like that, star. What happened to you? But when you don't try to understand or recognize that we are creative people and give Jack his jackets, which is us, then you're falling short. But then you want to know about voodoo and all kind of other something. And nobody not tell you that. Nobody not, I'm not saying that trying to have that understanding and figure that out is not good to do or not. But when it comes to development and when it comes to infrastructure, when it comes for advancement in life and everything, why are you jumping and missing all these things? And then you just want to go to Egypt and talk about phallus here and this, and the body was cut up into so much pieces. And yo, maybe that's why some of y'all commit so much hideous crime, star. Huh? Cause una want to try it and feel say that is something that happened. And you would always argue till the cows jump over moon that it did happen. What happened? What kind of nonsense is that? What kind of nonsense is that? Huh? So, love. We must love ourselves and appreciate ourselves. Right? Kenyatta. Yeah, my friend. Great leader. And this Vernon, you know, we must appreciate ourselves and must give credence and understand things, see, and be tolerant. But to the sisters and brothers, and mostly the sisters that are mixed, leave them alone. If you have a relationship with them and it's genuine, cool. If you just have a relationship with them because they're attractive and they're brownings, love them. Leave them alone, man. Leave them alone. Stop this. Stop resenting people that don't do with nothing. You understand? The people that do with something, we want to be with them. But yes, the Portuguese, investigate the Portuguese very, very well. You understand? And the costume, the clothing that the Portuguese wear is very similar to our brothers and sisters on the continent. And the people them there from the Mediterranean, from Iraq, Iran, and these places, I tell you, see? But there's a distinction, you see. They with the Portuguese people, them have on something like trousers, like the Turkish something. But them have turban. Oh, maybe y'all don't know. I don't know what you know anyway. So if you really want to read now, you have to go down to Zambia and look at the Portuguese in Zambia. You see? Take it from there. And so on. And then you start learning something because Islamic kingdoms were above them long time, I tell you. So we say guidance, gone.